Hi guys, this is Mr. Vandergriff, and I'm here with lesson 1.4, Ramona Chaparral Plant Adaptations. So let's get started. We've been doing this unit for about 6 years, and so I know it's a little challenging with the whole stay-at-home COVID-19 situation, distance learning, but we're going to give it our best shot and see how this works out. So I want to remind you in review that Chaparral is an ecosystem found only 4 other places in the world. Besides here in San Diego, it's found in central Chile, and then South Africa, Southwest Australia, and then of course in the Mediterranean basin. So these have very similar weather as we do here in San Diego. And the chaparral is a special plant community dominated by woody, drought-hardy shrubs shaped by a Mediterranean-type climate. So again, the summers are going to be very dry and you're going to have very wet and mild winters. And within that, you're going to get these special ecosystems called the chaparral. We've got these cool animals. You got the Pepsin wasp or the western fence lizard or the California buckwheat or Chamise or the gray fox and all of these very unique organisms. Now, our learning intention today is that all students will come to appreciate the biodiversity of the chaparral ecosystem and the way chaparral plants have adapted to their harsh environment, which provides students with a context for learning about energy transfer through the Ramona chaparral ecosystem. Also, all students will develop scientific investigative questions from their Ramona chaparral plant observations. Now, we know you're going to learn this. The evidence is going to be you can do these things. I can observe characteristics of the Ramona chaparral plants by looking for patterns and asking questions about the plant's characteristics, how they help the plants survive in a Mediterranean climate. And I can make and record detailed observations from the Ramona chaparral plant specimens that Mr. Vandergriff shared with us on the YouTube video, lesson titled 1.4 Chaparral Plant Adaptations. All right, so I always want to start by you guys thinking. So please get something to write with. Piece of paper, science journal, doesn't matter what it is, but get it out. Go ahead and do that. Because remember that writing, we only write for 2 minutes. Writing is thinking. Words are just like pegs to put our ideas on. So get that piece of paper out so we can answer this question here to get you thinking. Chaparral plants have to adapt to deal with drought and intense sun. List as many adaptations as you can think of which could help the chaparral plants survive. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a video before you start writing. See, laurel leaf sumac. And laurel leaf sumac has adaptations to survive in the harsh conditions of the chaparral, right? Lack of water, intense sunlight, and Look ahead. Yeah? So here's a little sun. Are you okay?
Yeah.
No problem, right? Come over here. Look ahead. Lack of water. Totally fine, right? And then over here, little wildlife fire. Okay, everyone clap for our chaparral plant. Go ahead and take that off. She takes 3 steps and then collapses. So with that demonstration, we're talking about the 3 things that plants in the chaparral have to deal with, right? Intense sunlight, lack of water, and then frequent wildfires. So go ahead, pause the video right now, and give some thought of what are these adaptations that the chaparral plants have that can help them survive in this environment. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, now that we're back, let's take a look here. Through your careful observations, you will discover how they survive today. So you're going to be looking at the different plants that I'm going to be showing you, and then you're going to be coming up with what you believe the adaptations are from your observations. And then after that, at the end, just for fun, I'm going to give you a little quiz just to see if you can identify what each chaparral plants these leaves represent, and then again, what their adaptations are. So the limiting factors, the things that are not living, the abiotic things like the weather, limiting factors that chaparral plants have to deal with obviously is going to be a lack of water, and then there's so much sun that causes evaporation, right? They're going to lose that water. And then the frequent wildfires. So those are the 3 limiting factors in the chaparral. But how in the world can these plants protect themselves against these limiting factors? Well, that's what we're going to find out. All right, so what I normally do is I've got 3 acres out by Mount Woodson, and I just take some samples from my property, load them up, and I bring them to school. And I welcome everyone to the elfin forest. Naturalists have been using the term the elfin forest, synonymous with chaparral, because everything seems to be a little smaller, right? There's not really huge trees. Things, most plants are like 3 to 8 feet tall, and even the animals are, kind of on the elfin forest size. And then I have students quietly make observations, detailed observations, from all the different plant specimens that are brought in. And you can see that, again, they're doing qualitative and quantitative observations. They're observing the texture and the color and the shape. And then from these, you're going to go ahead and make your prediction, your inference of what is the adaptation of that specific plant. Okay? So, please go ahead and get out your hand. This is in the back of the packet, your Ramona Chaparral Plant Observation 2020 COVID-19 edition. All right, so get that out. I loaded up my car and brought in some samples. So here are the samples, the 12 samples. Here's the white sage. It's supposed to be Chamise, but I forgot that. This one is the scrub oak. You can see a little gall here. We'll talk about that. This is the live oak. This is the daughter vine. This is the Yoruba Santa. This is manzanita, Mission manzanita. California buckwheat. Monkey flower, red and orange. Black sage. Laurel leaf sumac. And the chaparral yucca green leaves. So there are the 12 samples. Now again, you're going to be making qualitative observations. So that means you're going to be sketching detailed drawings about the texture, the color. Are they light or dark, shiny, dull, hard, soft, the shape, everything about the way the leaf and the plant looks. So each plant we're going to take, 5 to 8 minutes of just really detailed observation and recording those qualitative observations. And then the quantitative observations are going to be maybe the size of the leaf in centimeters, or the thickness, or the number of leaves. Anything that involves numbers in your observation. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to model the first one for you. I usually do this with the DocuCam in class, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right now just with this sample here of the white sage. So white sage is our first one right here. There's a picture of a white sage, and here's the first video. So I'm going to give you some videos out in the field, and then some videos actually in the classroom, and then some still pictures. And you can use all of those to make your observations. You can stop the video, you can rewind, you can pause. So it should be really, really easy to get your sketches and your observations. Here's a white sage. You can see its flowers here. And then as you go down the plant, the leaves get larger. Right here, there's a woody stem here. So you can see the leaf here and down in here. It has a very distinct aromatic smell. Here's another video clip. Goes really high up like that. It's flowery. And a couple more pictures of white sage. And then here in class are the samples that I brought in. Here's the top of the leaf. Here's under the leaf. Here's some stems coming off a branch of the shrub. And then here is in centimeters. Remember, this is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3. Here, these are inches, right? So we're using centimeters, metrics in science. There's one of the leaves here. And here's my in-class video with a little more detail. This is white sage. It's first on the list. Go ahead and take a look at that. Leaves. You can see it has a woody stem right here. Listen. All right. And then it's got these soft leaves. These are soft, kind of pale greenish color. And let me take one of the leaves off. Take a look. So it does not feel waxy. It feels very soft and supple. That. When you squish it up, has a very aromatic smell, sagey smell, if you've ever smelled that. It is a little sticky. And let's take a closer look at the edge of the leaf. Let me grab one more. All right. So that should give you enough details to go ahead and draw. And then also we can give you a measurement. So this leaf from there to there looks like it's 6 centimeters from the top to here. 6 centimeters. And for the width, it's 2.8 centimeters wide. So go ahead and white sage. Now, you can go ahead and see my drawing for the leaf drawing here and my sketch. And then right here is the leaf margin. And that's going to be the edge of the leaf. And you're going to be looking for patterns in the edge of the leaves and compare and contrast any of those to other leaves. Leaf texture and coating. So I put soft, velvety, furry, bendable or pliable, and it's got it's a smelly, that aromatic smelly scent to it, odor. The leaf color was light mint green, almost a whitish, white with a hue of green. And then it's darker on top than on the bottom. The leaf size was 6 centimeters in length and 2.8 centimeters wide. And we want to know, how does this plant survive? How does it protect itself? Say it, little plant. Rah! How does this plant protect itself? So, I'm going to give you this one, but all the other ones you need to come up and give your prediction from your observations of what the plant's adaptation is. So right here with the white sage, its special characteristics are it's almost a white leaf color, and it has a strong smell. The white, the adaptation is the white reflects light, keeping it cool so there's less water evaporation or transpiration. Let me just give you a practical example. If you've ever been barefoot walking in the summer on a hot asphalt road, it is extremely hot. You can burn your feet. Versus if you're walking on a whiter, lighter color concrete sidewalk, it's much cooler. You can see these billiard balls over here. The reason this one is black is it's absorbing all of the wavelengths. Remember Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So white light's made up of that. You should have learned that from Bill Nye, right? So it's absorbing all of them, so it's going to be much hotter with all those wavelengths that it's absorbing. Here, this red's absorbing all of them except the red, which is being reflected back to your eye. That's why it looks red. And then the white is reflecting all of them back to your eye, and you perceive that as white. Right? So, take a look at this. I found this picture from a hospital in Florida where people had 2nd and 3rd degree burns from walking on black asphalt in the summer. So it can be extremely hot. The same is true with the leaf. Okay, let's take a look. So the closer it is to white, the more it's going to be reflecting, and it's going to keep the leaf cooler. Less evaporation. It's going to be able to hold on to more of its water. Also, according to the California Academy of Science, strong-smelling odors evaporate to help cool the plant. I didn't know that. It's like how humans sweat to keep cool, right? We sweat, and then when that sweat evaporates off of our arm, the thermal energy or heat goes with that in the phase change, and you get that cool effect. So, last right here, in your adaptations to drought and high levels of sun, the light leaf color reflects sunlight, white coating helps reflect sunlight. So, that is the first one that I've modeled for you. So let's get on to our second one, which is chamise. You can see here the foothills are covered with the chamise, and this is in the spring where it's got this white, gorgeous, blooming flower on the hillsides. You can see a little closer that white flower all the way pretty much to the end of summer till that flower turns brown and kind of turns into a rust cinnamon color. There's a close-up of these tiny, tiny little flowers. And here's a video. Found some chamise right here. You can see the green small leaves, and then y'all can see the really cool white, small little white blooming flowers. So that's chamise. And more chamise here. So that was chamise. Each of those flowers produce tiny little seeds, which provide a lot of resource population for birds and other animals in the chaparral. Here is without the flower. You can see the tiny, tiny little club-shaped leaves, cylindrical and very, very, very small. And here's a video. And there's some more chamise. Here's chamise with the ruler. It looks like up to 25 centimeters in length there. You can pause the video to get more details. Here's a close-up of the leaves so you can actually get a length of that. And yes, you need to sketch one individual leaf and then get its size. For this is for chamise. And then there's the flower if you want to sketch that as well. So, what is this plant's adaptation? How does it protect itself against the harsh environment? Pause the video, make all your sketches, and then please make your prediction about its adaptations. Pause the video. When you're done, come back to find out what the adaptations are. All right, so let's take a look. Its special characteristics are it has very small leaves that are club-shaped. We talked about that. And the leaves have a waxy coating on them. Small leaves are very efficient at shedding heat. Small leaves have less surface area, so that means they're going to have less pores. They have these little pores called stomata. This is a microscopic picture. These are two guard cells that make up this opening called a stomata. That's in all leaves, where the leaves take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, but they also will, water vapor will go out of those leaf stomata as well. And so if you have less pores, you're going to have less evaporation through transpiration, and the waxy leaf coating helps keep the moisture in the plant. So that would be the adaptations for chamise. Scrub oak is third on our list. There's a couple scrub oaks actually by my house. They don't get more than maybe 10 or 12 feet high. Here's another scrub oak. And in the scrub oak, you can see right here, these are called galls. These are abnormal growths. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And here's a little video clip of the scrub oak. And let's see. So here's the in-class video. Next one is a scrub oak right here. You can see the leaves right there. So it is an oak, but again, they're, 10, 12 feet high. They don't get big like a giant oak tree. Also, a lot of times you'll see on the oak, you can kind of see one developing here, but here are these things called oak galls. Now, these oak galls, scientists believe most of these are caused by insects stinging the branch, and then it's an abnormal growth, and then they lay an egg in there, and then the egg can have some food and some shelter. So on this scrub oak, I found another gall, and I'm going to remove this. I just took it off here, you can see right there, it is part of the tissue of the tree. And here's the gall. It's very, very light, but notice that you see right there, that's where the maggot of the insect or the larval stage developed and then burrowed its way out of there. So I'm just curious if we cut open this. Yeah, you can see inside this material. So that's where the insect was living in that oak gall. So that gall is going to provide food and shelter for the developing insect. Sometimes scientists believe that they're not just caused by insects, but bacteria or a nematode or a fungus or some other disturbance. You can also see the exit point right here of the gall, and then this one is open as well. And here's the top of this scrub oak leaf and the bottom of the scrub oak leaf. So, what do you think its adaptations are to survive scrub oak? Please pause the video, go back and make all your observations and your sketches, and then come up with your predictions of what's causing it to survive. All right, we are back. Scrub oak, one, it's got very small leaves with a waxy coating. And again, we know that small leaves are efficient at shedding heat. We know that smaller leaves have less surface area, and there's going to be less evaporation of water, and the waxy coating is going to help keep the moisture inside. Let's go to our coast live oak or California live oak. And we are going to take a look at these two live oaks. This is Fred and Wilma. This is right by my house here, and I don't know. I just have a strange thing of naming trees. We've been at this property over 20 years, and so anyway, I named the big oak trees, Fred and Wilma, and here's a different angle. Giant, maybe about 35 feet in height, and here is the video from in the class. All right, next is the California live oak. Much bigger leaf, as you can see here. And let me take a leaf off. And take a look here. It looks like a little bowl, concave. So there's the underside. This is the top. It's very shiny on the top and dark green, and underneath is lighter. And you can also see that it has spikes right here. 1, 2, 3. Got one right there. Kind of hard to see. Little spikes. You can see all around there. There's spikes on there, so you want to include that in your drawing. So, California live oak. And here's a couple photos of the live oak with the centimeters. It's the top, there's the bottom of the leaf, and there's a side view. So again, how does this plant protect itself? I love this little picture with a shield and a sword, fighting against the harsh conditions of the chaparral. What is this plant's adaptation? Pause the video. Yes, pause the video. Don't bring any shame upon yourself by just letting the video go and copying the answers down. Pause the video, use your brain, use your observational skills, ask questions, and come up with a prediction and an inference of what are the adaptations for this plant. All right, I'm back. Let's find out. So special characteristics are waxy coating, and the leaf margins have spines. I counted 16 on this one. So the spines on the margin of the leaf deter animals from eating it because the animals want water and nutrients from that leaf, and the waxy leaf coating helps keep the moisture inside. So hopefully you got some of those. Good job with that. Let's move on to daughter vine. So, got a video. All right, you can see it. There it is, the treacherous daughter vine right behind me there, up there, there. It's a brilliant orange. Kind of hard to see because it's super sunny right now. When I'm driving down Scripps Perry Parkway, when I'm driving the 67, I'm always looking out of the corner of my eye for this carpet of orange on top of usually the laurel leaf sumac or California buckwheat, the dodder vine. There's a couple more video clips for you. It's like way up there. Climbs pretty high up. Take a look. So I got climbed up there to actually get a specimen for class, and was starting to pull it off, and I decided to make a little beard. You've heard of black beard? Well, this is orange beard, dodder vine orange beard. It's known as the devil's thread, witch's hair, dodder's vine, and now it is orange beard. And here is the in-class video. All right, so this one right here is the dodder vine, or other known as witch's hair. And I'm going to take this off here. Now, if you can see these laurel leaf sumac, do you see how it's all tangled around there? And again, it just feels like it's very pliable. It doesn't snap. It's very moist and wet. Let's see here. The width of that. Yeah, that is probably like 1 millimeter thick. And those vines can easily be over 3 feet in length, if not longer. So, how does the dodder vine adapt in this harsh conditions? How does it have self-defense? Pause the video, come up with your prediction, and then you can check your answer. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, I'm back. Let's find out. Well, it does grow really fast, and it also has these rod-like structures called hastoria that can pierce the tissue of other plants. So how does it adapt? Its main adaptation is this. It receives all its nutrients from the twining around green photosynthetic host plant and inserting little rods called hastoria into their tissue in order to steal the nutrients. So it can't photosynthesize. It doesn't have any chlorophyll, chloroplast, or chlorophyll. So it's got to steal from other plants. You can actually see right here where this is a California buckwheat. It's right here, injecting its little rods here. Let's see, we can see it here. I can see it here. A little here, some here, right here. Where else? Oh yeah, look at that. So all of these little rod-like structures are piercing that tissue and taking water and nutrients from it. That's why it's a parasitic plant. Yeah, you can see right here. This looks like a sticky monkey flower leaf. There's a little rod-like structure. Here's the little rod-like structures here, here, and here. And I think it was right in there as I pulled it off. You can see it in here and here. Kind of a close-up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. I think this is a video called dodder's vine, or alias, it's also known as the devil's thread, or maybe witch's hair. Let's take a look at it right here. It has no chlorophyll, but it has these little suckers that will go into the plant, the host plant. This is laurel leaf sumac that it usually doesn't kill. But if you take a look here, look in here. It starts out in the ground down here. And then as it gets a hold of the host plant, then those attachments to the ground, they just disappear, they break down. And now it's solely it's solely relying on the host plant for all its nutrients. And again, if the summer's really dry and very hot, then sometimes it can end up killing the host plant. Most of the time it doesn't. But usually it can be on 1, 2, up to maybe 3 or 4 host plants at once. So if one of them dies, it'll just move over to the next one. So again, this is the daughter's vine. And I'm gonna collect some right now for class. I can pull a bunch of this off. It's not hard because it's not easy. There we go. I guess I could make a giant beard out of it. Witch's hair beard. Let's see. There we go. All right, here's the in-class video. These laurel leaf sumac, do you see how it's all tangled around there? So that was the host plant. So again, this is a parasitic plant. Doesn't have true chlorophyll. It doesn't have any chlorophyll, so it's not green. So it can't photosynthesize. So it comes up from the ground and then it intertwines and then it has these little rods that it punctures into the tissue and then it sucks the nutrients out.